Well, maybe. Hello, my friends, and welcome to another edition of the Nintendo News Roundup. How you doing today? You look really good today. That's too much small talk. We don't have time for small talk like that because it's another really big, crazy week. Nintendo did their big fiscal financial report thingy, so we got like about 100 billion stories here, so bear with me as I try to get through it all. First, we'll hit a few of the biggest headlines. Allegedly, according to Adam Conover, whatever. Back in 2015, he was working at College Humor, and he said in a recent interview that at that time, College Humor was making a stop-motion Star Fox show, but it got canceled because Nintendo was working with Netflix on a Zelda show, and Netflix leaked their plans, and I remember the rumors from back then. I didn't think they were true, but apparently, according to him, that was real, and it leaked, and Nintendo freaked out and canceled both. Most people are reporting this just directly as absolute truth. I have no reason really to distrust this person. I don't really know him very well. But it is a little weird to me that he would be privy to all of this information, and only 5 years later, like, he must have signed some NDAs or something, just kind of willingly giving this information. Seems a little weird. If this is true, then I would say it's just such a disappointing Nintendo thing to just cancel everything because they got freaked out by a leak. You know what I mean? Like, if you've decided to do a thing with your property, do the thing. Don't let one little thing ruin everything. Nope, it's all over. Shut it down. Cancel everything. It's a little bit weird. But fortunately, it looks like they're branching out more into shows and stuff now. I've been meaning to make a video on it for a while now, so I don't know. Hopefully there's some cool stuff like this coming, because that's pretty disappointing. Like a Wes Anderson style stop motion Star Fox. That's so cool. That's so cool. I want that. Ah, it's annoying. I like Zelda a lot more, and yet somehow I'm like, Zelda show, I want the Star Fox thing. That sounded cooler. According to a data miner who goes by Oatmeal Dome, it seems that Nintendo is replacing their whole online multiplayer system that they'd been using since back in the Wii U and 3DS days. Basically replacing their server system, and I think some of the background software. The new system is called NPLN, the old one is NEX. I do not know enough about any of this, or whether this is going to have a big impact on their online performance. I think just the way it's coded, the net code, as it were, has a big thing to do with it. I don't really know. I would imagine it would. Apparently this is so old that even in Splatoon 2's files, there's an unused function to see if it's running on Windows 98. That's how old all of this stuff was, which is weird and disappointing if true, but hopefully we see some good out of this by replacing it. That sure would be nice, wouldn't it? Sure would be nice. As I said, Nintendo recently had one of their big financial briefings with investors and all that stuff. So there's all these quotes and sales numbers and stuff all over. It's very exciting. Apparently they have raised their revenue forecast again. They already raised it somewhat recently, and they're raising it again. They expect to make $5.34 billion in profit, and I don't know. I think there will reach a point where they're going to raise it too high and not meet it. But that's just what they do. You keep raising it to keep the investors happy. Eventually, you're going to get there where it's not realistic or it dips down again. But at least at the moment, they're thinking over $5 billion. And yeah, the Switch sales are going crazy. We've seen reports on that again and again. Past the 3DS. Definitely going to pass the Wii. At least in a few years, for sure. Unless they have some really, really big crazy thing coming this year, I think there's a good chance it's gonna dip over last year. It was Animal Crossing, it was Pandemic Town, so I think I think this year we might see it start to taper out a little bit. But I don't know, maybe they'll surprise us with some big massive thing, who knows? Nintendo claims that a lot of their revenue was thanks to multiple people within one household purchasing Switches, and they say they are rigorously responding to demand for multiple Switches per household, which is, if I might snark a little bit, your biggest game of the year required people to have multiple Switches for multiple people to actually have their own files because of very deliberate decisions in the way that your game was designed, which is a little bit frustrating that you're kind of creating that demand for multiple Switches per house. But I know there's plenty of reasons people want multiple Switches. Anyway, I just like to do some snarking sometimes. Nintendo updated their top sellers list. Here you can see sales in this fiscal year so far, and then the total on the right, which is very, very interesting. We see that Animal Crossing, 19 million just in this fiscal year, which it's, oh my gosh. That means it sold just that much right out of the gate, and then even since then, whatever. It's the biggest game. It's very, very close to passing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It definitely will, and that's in less than a year, which is incredible. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, by the way, if you combine its sales with the Wii U sales, the original, they have become the highest selling Mario Kart game ever. They finally passed Mario Kart Wii, and that's a big thing. Pretty good for a port, wouldn't you say? Then next, Super Mario 3D All-Stars sold a cool 8 million, which is great for them. Other interesting stuff in there. Ring Fit Adventure has passed 8 million total, which is incredible. I think this is a result of stock shortages basically ending. I've started seeing it in stores and stuff, so now it's selling super duper well. Gonna definitely see more Ring Fit Adventure stuff in the future. Way down the list, you can see Pikmin 3 Deluxe is just about at 2 million units, and that officially makes it the best-selling Pikmin game ever. It's not much. It's not a huge amount at all. For the scope of those games, success would probably be more like 3, 4, 5 million. But it's a good start because it hasn't even been out for a year, just a few months in fact, and it's still got a ways to go. By the end of the Switch's life, it could sell 3 or 4 million, maybe even 5. Who knows? So that's good. That bodes decently well for the future of Pikmin because that's just a port. There are plenty of people who did not want to double dip, or they just didn't like the idea that it's an old game. If there was a new Pikmin, it would definitely sell more than this, so that's pretty exciting. That's not bad. It's not great, but it's something. Oh yeah, and I skipped over my note here. Pokemon Sword and Shield. They're the first Pokemon games to pass 20 million units sold since Gold and Silver. So another really big win for Nintendo and the Switch. That's just incredible numbers. And again, like with everything on this list, I say it again and again, but it's true, they will continue to sell. Look at these older games, these games that are years old from back when it launched, they're still selling. They sell millions every year, and they're gonna keep selling. They're gonna keep breaking records. So speaking of Switch sales, recently Reggie was saying some stuff, as Reggies tend to do, and he said that after the failure of the Wii U, the Switch was basically a make or break kind of thing, you know, like make or break. Are we still, like, is this console thing really working? This has got to work. And I mean, you know, that much is pretty much obvious. It's not necessarily to say it would have destroyed the company, but when you look at like just how companies work and how investors work and stuff like that, the Wii U was such an enormous financial disaster that if the Switch was anything but what it is now, like if it was another kind of failure or like a modest success, they would have seen a massive exodus of shareholders, and that probably would have plummeted the value of the company. It would have been a pretty big problem. I don't know if they would have tried again after that. They did have a lot of money in the bank, or if they would have had to pivot, start, you know, go third party, forget consoles, or who even knows. But it would have been a bad thing. It would have been a super bad thing. But it is fun to see it, you know, from his own mouth. Even at Nintendo, they were like, yeah, no, this has got to work. This absolutely has to work. Amidst all these reports and Q&As and whatnot, Nintendo has gone on record to say that there are no plans to announce new Switch hardware anytime soon, but that doesn't really mean anything. They've said that in the past, immediately before revealing something. Right now, we got a few months of games coming up. They don't, whatever. It doesn't mean anything. They might not release anything this year. They could. Them saying, we don't have anything planned right now. Like, of course you don't. Because you haven't said it yet, so you don't plan to say it yet. Anyway, there's another Diamond and Pearl remake rumor, but it's another pretty one. I mean, it's okay. Apparently there was a Reddit thread by someone, and they called some of the stuff from back in Sword and Shield. They like called Galarian Mr. Mime, and so like had some stuff right. And in that same thread, it was talking about Diamond and Pearl remakes, but it said it was they were gonna come out in 2020, and they were gonna have Let's Go catching, like in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I don't think that's true. Well, I mean, clearly it didn't come out in 2020. It didn't look like it ever was gonna come out in 2020. Seemed like the DLC was that plan. And then I don't know why it would be, it's not gonna be Let's Go. If we're gonna get another Let's Go, that's gonna be Diamond or Gold and Silver. This is gonna be a full remake. I don't know why it would have the Let's Go catching. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but if you're super into these, and grabbing onto any rumor you can, here's one. So one of the very, very, very cool things that some data miners and whatnot do is find original samples that were used to create the music in Super NES games. Because whenever composers made music for Super NES, they had to compress the heck out of everything to get it on the Super NES. And so what people are doing is they're finding the originals and recompiling the songs, so we get like the full original versions of what they would have sounded like without all the compression. And they've done like Donkey Kong Country and a couple others, really awesome stuff. And the latest one is Super Mario World, so you can like hear how they originally sounded, which is really cool. I will say they do lose some charm. I've grown to like the compression. There's some charm in that, but it is still very cool. There's also charm in these cheesy MIDI songs. I like these too, these synth noises and stuff. So check that out. That's pretty interesting. Gotta move things along. Super Nintendo World stuff has been leaking all over the place. The park hasn't opened, but I think Nintendo has been allowing press and such in because they've revealed a whole like first-person kind of like footage of the park and some of the rides and stuff. I have not looked at any of it because I don't want spoilers. I plan to go someday. So if you don't mind spoilers though, check it out. There's a whole bunch of footage of rides and all that. Oh man. A week before launch, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury has of course leaked, because basically every game leaks now. I mean, all it takes is a retail copy going out early, someone who works at any of the thousands of game stores all over the world. They take their copy, it's sitting on the shelf, and they go and they dump it and they put it online. And there it is. There it is early. So there are already people like streaming it and playing it and stuff, so watch out for spoilers, even though I don't think there's gonna be a lot of spoilers. It seems like it's pretty basic setup, but who knows? That's interesting though. Sure, Nintendo ain't happy. They are not happy about that every time it happens. Speaking of Bowser's Fury, Nintendo has released a couple new ads for the game, and I caught a lot of heat on Twitter the other day. A lot of heat. I made a snarky tweet being like, okay, so like, I wouldn't make Wii U style ads for the Switch, but that's just me, because one of these ads is like super duper cheesy. I wasn't saying cheesy commercials were the only thing that killed the Wii U, and I'm not saying they're gonna kill the Switch. I was just being like, why would you do this? They distance themselves from these kinds of ads. But people didn't like that. I got ratioed to high heaven. I don't understand what alternate world I'm living in right now. Look at this commercial. This isn't like a cutesy Wii U commercial. This is different. This is just a family having fun. The guy, he turns into a cat. They put cheesy CG ears and tail on him. He turns into a cat. And then the other kid gets a double cherry and goes, oh, there's two of them now. And the mom is like, what? Tell me how is that not a Wii U ad? How is that not a cheesy, cringy Wii U ad? Oh, come join us. We're just playing a new Mario game. Grab a Joy-Con and join in. Anyway, I thought that was funny. It's just a family having fun. What kind of messed up family? What kind of messed up family you got? This kind of stuff is happening. In the US and Canada, Burger King is doing some Nintendo toys again. I feel like some of these are reused from before. I feel like I've seen these. At the very least, the Link's Awakening one. But there you go. If you eat at Burger King and you're either a kid or you just like, no shame, I want these toys. There you go, some toys at Burger King. I won't judge. I absolutely won't judge. I remember when I was into Pokemon as a kid, or rather a young teenager, my grandma went to Burger King and bought a kid's toy just to get me one of the Pokemon toys. It was a little Cubone. A little Cubone and a little Pokeball. It was very nice of her. 7-Eleven in Japan is getting a whole bunch of Mario-themed food, which is fun. I don't know why our 7-Elevens don't get cool stuff like this. There's nothing cool about So there's Slurpees. You got Slurpees. That's about it. But I think that the Bowser sub, I don't know, it's like a meatball sub except they're fried chicken and it's really spicy. That actually sounds pretty great. I would definitely eat a Bowser fried chicken meatball sub. Lots of merch kind of stuff. Levi's has got another batch of Pokemon clothes. When is there not a week where there's a batch of Pokemon clothes? Interestingly enough though, they're also doing Misty's whole outfit. And excuse me while I go check and see if they have my size. Nintendo is also putting out some clothing based on the Dodo brand in Animal Crossing, the Dodo lines, which is pretty darn fun. I do like that. Most importantly of all, though, look at these Pikmin flower vases. These are not official products. This is on Etsy, but they're incredible. I am definitely ordering a set. Holy cow. So the link is down in the description if you want that. My gosh. I'm disgusted by that rock one. I'm disgusted by how, it's so cute. Oh, I want it. As a part of Fire Emblem's 30th anniversary celebration, Nintendo is doing a series of interviews with various Fire Emblem voice actors. So that's a lot of fun. If you're into Fire Emblem, definitely keep an eye out for that. Speaking of Fire Emblem, there was a popularity poll. I believe it's for the Fire Emblem, the Heroes app game, video game, mobile game, whatever, phone game, whatever you want to call it. What's going on? Sorry. Point is, people were voting for their favorite characters, and apparently Gatekeeper was very, very high on the list and beat out a lot of very popular characters, such as Marth, Chrom, and even Byleth. If you don't know, the Gatekeeper is the cheery, happy gatekeeper who always gives you a little report of what's been going on in Three Houses, which is very, very funny. I was like, I caught that reference. I know who that is. I played that game. That's funny. Gatekeeper for Smash. Oh, he's already in the stage though. Oh no, deconfirm. Oh well. Hey, Breath of the Wild player, master, expert, I don't know what you call it, who goes by Johne, has completed a 100% run of Breath of the Wild without taking damage. The dedication required to do that is quite admirable. That is incredible. I don't know what else to say. 100%. That's all the Koroks and everything. That is mind-blowing. If I lose when I'm playing a game and I gotta redo 2 minutes of stuff, even anything over 1 or 2 minutes, and I'm just I don't even want to play anymore. This person here a couple times hit the 30-hour mark and got hurt and had to start over. That's wow. Wowie zowie. And speaking of incredible feats of determination, I was not aware that the end credits in Melee, you can use your little cursor and you can shoot them, and there's a bunch of them. I didn't know that no one had ever hit them all. I kind of thought I'm sure. Come on, video games. People, especially Melee, people play Melee a lot. People do all of this incredible stuff. I assumed it had been done. I assumed maybe if I practiced enough, I could do it. It was this sort of legendary thing in my mind, wow, that would be a really big deal. Apparently no one has done it. At least nobody has recorded themselves doing it until one Martin Zarate. He's done it. He did it. Here's a video of him doing it. Gets every single one. And again, that's a lot of dedication. Although actually, he said it took him around 50 hours of practice. I think this is one of those things that just no one's tried yet, or just no one's recorded themselves. That's not even that much. You know what I mean? It's a solid week or so of doing, I don't know. It's still really impressive. I'm certainly not going to do it. Maybe everybody was just so engrossed in the rest of Melee that they didn't even think to do this. Anyway, I thought that was fun. The latest issue of Famitsu has a whole bunch of new screenshots and Pokemon reveals and stuff for new Pokemon Snap. So if you're super duper duper interested in absorbing every single piece of information about that game you possibly can, check out the scans. Someone in Japan was arrested for selling hacked Pokemon. Apparently that is illegal over there, not necessarily because of the modification, but it violates laws that help protect people against unfair competition. It's specifically the fact that it's a competitive thing, and so no cheatsies, basically. And he had made a good amount of money selling hacked Pokemon, but they got him. It was a Sobble that did it, apparently. Hacking is such a huge thing over here. Finding hacked Pokemon is such a thing. It's weird that if it was that illegal there, he would be selling it. But just if you're gonna do it, just hack it yourself. They're not gonna figure it out if you're just you doing it. But once money enters the exchange, that's when it's a thing and people can track it. So it's a little interesting. I'll just say interesting. And the jokes write themselves. They write themselves, big scary guy sitting there, barbed wire tattooed all over him. What are you in for? It's Pokemans. Selling. No, he tries to make it sound cool. Selling hacked Pokemons. Yeah, man, that's Sobble. Its stats are all maxed out and everything. They got me good. Anyway, just run with that. Pretend make your own jokes and run with it. I don't know. I'm too tired. Too tired to make my own. Gosh, even if they let you out the next day, you were always the guy that went to jail for hacking Pokemon. That's incredible. Anyway, that's the end of the Nintendo News Roundup for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. It really was a lot of news. I love the financial things. There's always so much fun stuff to come out of that. Let me know what you think about any of these news stories down in the comments, or just something else entirely. You just want to talk? You just talk. Just tell me tell us about your hobbies down in the comments. See you later.